Hello, good evening. We will now call the meeting to order. It is now 7 o'clock. The requirement of the Sunshine Law has been met. The meeting was sent to be advertised to the Burlington County Time. Electronic news was given to the NJAC 5:39-1.5. We will now start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have a moment of silence, if we could, to direct this moment of silence to the fires that are in California. Thank you. Roll call.
Committeewoman Dr. Caldwell. Present. Committeewoman Miss Maddox Cantine. Present. Committeeman Mr. Carr.
Present.
Committeewoman Ms. Mungo. And Mayor Henley.
Present.
4 present.
Monthly reports: construction, police, public works, courts, fire, EMS, and tax collector. We'll now open the meeting for public comment on agenda items only. Please remember to state your name and address for the record. Reminder, this is for comment. Come on up. Nah, you're wearing the right hat. Wait a minute. I was a little far away. I mean, that hat'll do, but I thought it was the Eagles hat.
Gary Barbarian, 138 Winstead. The PDF packet for tonight's meeting with the agenda, etc., I didn't see attached to it the police report, the court report, or the tax collector report, so it wasn't part of what was made available online. So if somebody could summarize those reports, it would be helpful. And then I had a comment about it was E34-25, the resolution around the fair housing. It mentioned in the resolution, it mentioned the year 2035, and I don't know, maybe I didn't read it right, but it looks like the 165 units don't have to come online until that year. Is that right? Maybe somebody could give some context around that. Thanks.
Absolutely. You want to do it now, Bob?
Yeah, I can address that now. I forget to address this. So under the Fair Housing Act, the compliance periods are broken down into 10-year rounds, with the present round being 2025 through 2035. It is what the culmination of this process is going to be the adoption of a housing element fair share plan, which is a component of the zoning ordinance and plans for and provides the opportunity for the development of the 165 credits during the next 10 years. So kind of your conclusion is correct that they don't all have to come online now. It's just providing, the township has to provide the opportunity for those units over the next 10 years.
Got it, Gary? Yes, thank you. Perfect. Any other comments? With none, motion to close. All in favor? All right. Consent agenda resolution. Consent agenda resolution. Resolution notes consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by the certification of availability of funds. Any items requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. Do we have a motion or removal?
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor, for the consent agenda.
Anyone a second?
I'll second Caldwell.
Any discussion?
Just like to note for the record, Committeewoman Mungo's here for the vote.
Yep. Roll call?
Dr. Caldwell. Yes. Ms. Maddox Cantine.
Yes.
Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Ms. Mungo.
Yes.
Mayor Henley.
Yes.
I'm sorry, motion passes.
We're now open the meeting for public comment. Please remember to state your name and address for the record. Reminder, this is for comment only.
My name is Ashley Faganiak. I live at 46 Dover Road. Since you guys canceled the meeting in December, I was not able to follow up on some of the questions we had regarding the emergency shelter. Did they provide the EPA statement to you? We need to know if they were providing that because they said they had it and it was not available. Also, did you get in writing that the homeless shelter would not financially impact any of the West Hampton residents that we had spoken about at the November meeting?
Gary Barbarian, 138 Winstead. So I happened to be watching C-SPAN on December the 11th in the morning, and to my astonishment, I saw Congressman Lauren Boebert introduce a bill, and it was about the post office, and she had introduced a bill, and believe it or not, it's only like a couple of pages, but what was interesting about this particular bill is that it authorized the post office to create zip codes for small municipalities. And I read through the bill, and quite a few of them were in Colorado, but one was in New Jersey, in Morris County, a township or a borough called Kennellan, similar in size to our township, about 10,000 people. So the bill passed. It was sent to the Senate on the 12th of December. Unfortunately, it was received by the Senate. They took no action. So we all remember Schoolhouse Rock. We know what happens to these bills, right? They're officially, quote, dead. Here's the thing. If you all remember, maybe about 10 years ago, when Andre was the mayor and Abe Lopez was deputy mayor, there was an effort to create a zip code for our township. And I think it's a lot of, bureaucratic red tape. And once the post office says no, it's a 10-year waiting period to reapply. So that's apparently what set in motion Congresswoman Boebert's decision to try to, accelerate the creation of these zip codes. According to the bill, it would take 270 days, once the bill passed, for the post office to create the zip code. So here's the thing. We didn't have a sitting member of the House in our 3rd district at the time. If you recall, Mr. Kim moved over to the Senate and got sworn in, or he was appointed and then sworn in. Otherwise, I would have made a phone call and see if we had anyone that would be interested in trying to amend the bill. New Congress sworn in on January 3rd. So I just looked at the all of the daily digests from the past 2 weeks. I didn't see that she introduced the bill new to the new Congress. My guess is she doesn't have a big track record introducing legislation. My guess is she'll probably try to introduce it again. Here's what I'm going to suggest. I know we've talked about having a zip code before. If we're on the fence about getting our own zip code for our township, you know what? Maybe we get in on this bill. Maybe someone can call Conaway's office and see what he can do. Like I said, read the bill yourselves. I can give you the site. You can go pull it up. It's H.R. 8753.
Yep.
So, some of the reasons cited by the smaller municipalities in Colorado are the same reasons we've cited them before, right? Confusion, issues with collecting sales taxes, the fact that we're, a municipality with growing needs and concerns. Personally, I think it's helpful to have our own zip code. I don't know how many times I've typed in 08060 and it comes up Mount Holly.
Yeah.
And other people will insist and say, no, you live in Mount Holly. I can't do anything for you. And it's just frustrating. So she came up with something, I think, pretty creative here. And hopefully, maybe Conaway wants an easy layup on some bipartisanship here. If I call his office, nothing's going to get done. But I know you guys can call his office and something will get done. So that's my comment.
You can call his office. I don't know if something's going to get... Well, I can't say that. I will... We do have a liaison for them all, like Kim, Conaway, and even up to Governor Murphy. So we can reach out to them. No other comment? All in favor to close?
Aye.
Dates to remember. Next Township Committee meeting is February the 4th at 7 p.m. Land Development Board meeting is February the 5th at 7 p.m. Historic Commission is January the 22nd at 7 p.m. Recreation Committee meeting is February the 12th at 7 p.m. Do we have any committee liaison reports and comments?
Yes, I
You
can
see that?
start.
want to start? I can start. I have a report, also a request, and a friendly reminder for everyone. So I attended the reorganization meeting of the West Hampton Board of Education last week. It was virtual. If you remember, that was a snow day last Monday. So also, January is National Board Recognition Month. So if you come across a board member, just from doing that role, it's very underappreciated. You have to have a large time commitment. So if you see one of them, just recognize them and thank them for their service. Also, congratulations to a new board member who was appointed. Her name is Dr. Kiana Brown. And I was also sad to hear that Maureen Malecki, longtime guidance counselor and then board member, has resigned from the board. And so now there is one more seat open. So if you know anyone who's interested, please have them apply. When I used to sit in the pews and come to the meetings last year, one of the areas of focus that I noticed that we needed was better communication with the county office. So I started thinking of ways that we can be more proactive and bridge the communication gap. And so what I came up with is I'm volunteering to be a liaison to the Burlington County Board of Commissioners. So I'll be asking the Township Committee if you guys would support that. But I'm volunteering to go to the meetings, get information that's necessary. But basically, the purpose of being the liaison for that will be to establish and maintain a relationship with the county office, facilitate any communications, bring it back to the township committee meetings, and just to identify any short-term and any long-term challenges that's going to directly be related to West Hampton. I'd like to get on those sooner rather than later. So my request is that you appoint me as a liaison or co-liaison to that committee. And just a friendly reminder to everyone about the trash collection. It's now Thursdays going forward. I myself was packing my trash on Sunday night and remembered, so I thought I'd remind everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I had an opportunity to attend the Burlington County Annual Organization Meeting, the oath of office for Commissioners Tyler Burrell and Dr. Felicia Hobson. The theme of that event was strength and depth in our community. And it was great attending that because Dr. Hobson laid out a lot of things that they're going to be doing that directly and indirectly affect us. One is the Longbridge Park playground renovation. Yes, she touched on the emergency shelter, the World Cup in 2026, first-time home buyers program, the health building being renovated, and also preserving farmland. Dr. Caldwell and I have had many discussions when it comes to playing an integral part with the county and trying to establish a relationship, as she has said. And what we are looking to do is we're looking to work closely with them to be able to find out what's going on in the county and bring that information back to the township of West Hampton. If I had not attended that meeting, I wouldn't know about Longbridge Park playground being renovated. My kids play there. World Cup in 2026, so many different things that will be taking place. So Dr. Caldwell and I have spoken about doing something where we can play an integral part, working with the county and looking to bring some information back to the citizens of West Hampton. So looking forward to that. In terms of our Recreation Committee, we did not have a meeting on the 8th. However, we did have, and I attended the girls and boys basketball assessments. The basketball program will go between now and March. We have 36 teams, over 400 children. Pee-wee, bantam, midget, junior, majors, and seniors. And they go from little children all the way to the 9th grade. Very well attended, over 400 children, and that's excellent. We have indoor soccer going on between now and February, over 325 children. Adult indoor soccer with 16 teams. Men's open basketball, they play every Tuesday. Women's volleyball, that goes between now and through May. So they're super busy, they're doing some great things, and look forward to perpetuating the success of the Recreation Committee. As far as Timbuktu is concerned, it's a place of commercial wealth and opportunity. That phrase was coined a while ago, and I'm looking forward to having multiple events this year. As far as Timbuktu is concerned, I'm learning about this gym in our backyard. There's a lot of history, a lot of information there, and I'm looking forward to doing some great things. We're continuing to perpetuate the success of this committee and helping to make West Hampton the best Hampton. How do we do that? We're all on the same team. We're looking to do some great things here. We have been approached to do a number of improvements. Deerwood Country Club, the crosswalks. I live in Deerwood, and a number of people have asked me about that. Spoke to Public Works, and they're going to be completing that in the spring. One side is done, they're looking to do the other side. The mayor probably is going to address some of the things that is going to be taking place in the villages, and we're super excited about that. I am looking forward to doing some great things and working with all of you, and I am continuing to be humbled and honored to work with each and every one of you. I want to end this with a quote. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for to make that change. We are the change, and we seek the help and assistance of everyone in this community to make that change. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have any comments.
Happy New Year again. I just want to say thank you to our Public Works, Police and Fire for all your hard work during our last snowfall. Really appreciate it. Kept our residents safe. We're already jumping into some work on our code book. Keep an eye out for that. For example, we're looking into the Historical Preservation Committee, looking to make that stronger for our residents in the village that are affected by some of the development there, getting a stronger say in the matter. We're also looking at some updating other ordinances that just haven't been updated in a long while. Also trying to organize some labor to fix some safety issues at the Veterans Building. So we got a lot underway. The mayor's been heavily involved with that one and some grants that they got. So thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate your time. Happy New Year again.
Ashley, I wanted to be able to speak to your question. That's what we're doing. Like one of the things that we heard from when this all started was that you guys really didn't know, right? Really didn't know what was going on. And I think that that's been addressed from Ashley and Dr. Caldwell and Ms. Max, Committeewoman Max Canteen about being a liaison to the county, right? And being able to bring back the information that we're looking for, right? That information that you're asking about, we didn't completely get everything back yet, but that's why. Literally, we're going to have the resolution next meeting to make it official. But it's something that we have been talking about, to be proactive versus reactive, and to let the residents know that we do hear them and that we do understand it, and we are here for you guys. So, one, I appreciate you, and ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but I know that you're someone else who deeply cares about the emergency shelter, and I do respect that. I respect that, you guys, you ladies, I'm sorry, are continuing to come up, continuing to ask questions, voice your concerns, and it's our job to help make sure that those concerns are met. Now, I have done some of the work, but the fact of the matter is we're a full committee, and they're going to take that into the work and bring this information back and make sure that we're addressing that. So I don't want you to think that we're not paying attention, and I appreciate you coming up, but that wasn't by happenstance, that conversation. That's been something that we've been working on to get done, so thank you. Number two, stop signs. So I had an opportunity to speak with our Public Works. We're going to put stop signs in a four-way stop that they've been asking about in the village for quite some time. They have some trucks that have been coming through there that we put signs up. We've been taking step after step after step to now. Listen, I continue to say that we live here, so a lot of things we see. I've had somebody pass me because I'm so afraid of going over 25 miles an hour. Somebody passed me on that street. And I actually blew my horn at him because I'm like, somebody's going to complain to me about you, right? So that's something that we recently talked about. So that's going to go in, I can't tell you when, but before the end of the month. Is that fair to say, Chris? Yes, and then we're also adding a four-way stop over at the school to help people slow down and protect our children. The walkways, I spoke to our chief, and he's going to meet with Committeewoman, the name, because I now messed up. Committeewoman Canteen Maddox. No, in the first part of the whole, they said her name wrong, so now I'm all messed up. Maddox Canteen. So, and talk about the walkways we want to put in, not just in Deerwood, but all over our town to continue to address the speeding issue. And the way that came about, I like to share these things so that you know that you matter, right? When she's knocking on doors, she runs into someone who works for our town, and they talk about that aspect, right? So once she was elected, we spoke on the phone, and she's like, can you get me this person's information? Because I want to go back and talk to them, because I talked to them when I was knocking on their door, and this was a concern. And this is what she brought back. And just to make sure that we're not overstepping our bounds, right, we talked to our chief of police, talked to our public works, and to see how that can get done so that we can take yet another step into slowing down. And believe you me, it's our own residents that are doing it, to slow them down, to keep our children safe. Trees in the village, we also talked about that. I know one of the issues was that PSE&G came out and they cut down some trees that were dying. And so I had an opportunity to meet with some of the people in the village, and they talked about the trees being a sound barrier. I would assume sometime in either next meeting or the meeting after that, we're going to put out that we want to have a meeting with the people in the village to come here, because we want to talk about the trees that we want to put in, but we also want to present options. We can cut down a lot of the trees that are there and start fresh with a whole bunch of new trees, or you're going to have, mismatched trees, like which, how do you want it? And it's, it's something that we want to hear what people have to say, and what does it mean, and what's the best efficient way to do so. So that's coming as well. We talked about recreation. What I would say is this. So when you're talking about the levels of people or the kids playing basketball, both of my kids play basketball. One was good, the other. But anyway, it doesn't matter when you're coaching the kids. What I would say is that if we're going to have involvement in our community, right, these are the things that you want to be involved in. I know that the recreation has a history of searching for coaches over and over and over and over again to be able to come out and help the kids. Now, what I will say is you don't have to be a basketball professional. You don't have to be great at basketball. You just have to engage the kids and help them. Ivan, who's now on our recreation board, I talked him into being a coach 2 years ago. They're looking for coaches. I signed my kid up, and I talked to him, and he'll tell you, I said, well, you be a coach. Well, I don't know basketball like that. Well, it's not about that. You live here. You be a coach. Coach your kid. Coach all the other kids. Get to know the kids. Now, his highlight is coaching recreation basketball and spending time with the kids. So we have a huge recreation program. I would ask everyone, if you want to give back to your community, that's the perfect way to do it. You get to meet a bunch of other parents, a bunch of kids that your kids go to school with, so you know who they're hanging out with. You know a little bit more about the community. This is a perfect way to do it. And last but not least, when we're talking about Timbuktu, last year we had a movie day. There wasn't a lot of people who showed up for the movie day. It was for African American History Month. We're going to have a movie day again. What I would suggest, we continue. I read everything. I read a lot of things. I won't say everything. But we continue to say, what is our community doing? I've named a bunch of things our community does, and I don't always see some of the same people there who ask what our community is doing there at these community events. Change Church is a big part of our community. They have done a lot. They have given away book bags. They've had food trucks that they've paid for, where they've had kids coming, getting book bags and getting on rides that they've done in their parking lot. They've done they've given to the homeless. I don't know if you guys know about the DCF school over there for pregnant teens. The only way that I got to know about the DCF school is because Change Church called me over because they were presenting a check for $5,000. The school said that they've never had any money, let alone a $5,000 check. And then I was able to help them use the amphitheater across the street for graduation because they never had the money to have an ample graduation for the kids and the mothers to graduate. And along with giving them coats and things of that nature. So what I would say is Change Church was nice enough to let us have it in their room last year. They have a huge screen, and they're trying to work it out now where we can do it again next month. I'll continue to report where we're at with that, but I would hope to see people there. And my apologies. The police were there. They gave out food, popcorn, snacks. The fire department was there. It was a community event that everyone in the township engaged in. It was just a shame there was 15 people there. What I would say is that you want to have a great free movie day and learn about African American history, that when that program comes out, I would have my fingers crossed and hope to see you all there. On this side, not on this side. But with that being said, we're going to go into executive session. Resolution, huh?
Would you just clarify? I thought I heard you say something about you were going to try to do a resolution to formalize the appointment of a liaison from the committee to the county commissioner?
Yes, like a county commissioner liaison, so they can come back, like how we just gave a liaison report. They can give a liaison report to what they've gotten from the county commissioners. We have been in contact with Dr. Felicia and,
I was saying her last name.
Hobson.
Yeah.
And she's game. And she's actually had a relationship with Ashley because they've walked together and knocked on doors. So Ashley already has her information, and it's already a go. So that gives us an opportunity, because here's what we didn't want. This was kind of the back and forth, right? The back and forth was, let's make it about the emergency shelter, right? Like, we're going to report on the emergency shelter. We're going to report on the emergency shelter. But we can all admit here that the county has a campus in West Hampton. Maybe if we broaden it to make sure that we report on everything that the county does that encompasses West Hampton, then we won't be taken by surprise at all. So that's why we made it a county liaison versus an emergency shelter liaison.
And I'm not trying to throw a spanner into the works, but I don't think you can do it by resolution, only because there's already an existing ordinance on the books, which would sort of supersede any policy change by resolution. The ordinance is 4-285. So I think you might have to do it by ordinance and amend that ordinance possibly. Alternatively, I don't see why you couldn't use parliamentary procedure under Robert Rules of Orders. It only takes one of you to introduce a motion, a second, and one gets seconded, and amend the bylaws and appoint someone to be the liaison, in that capacity, since you operate under the bylaws.
Well, I would say this, Gary, and more or less than what's involved by the legality of the whole thing is about the accountability, right? Like, so we could have had that the whole time, right? We've had that the whole time, but when has it been done? So we want to make sure that legality-wise, whether it's an ordinance or whether it's a resolution, we have two people up here that want to make sure that it gets done. And by speaking into the microphone and making it a part of the comment, we're making the assessment of the accountability to make sure that it gets done.
And I appreciate that.
No worries.
I've been on the record saying that I think someone from the committee should.
I know.
What I'm going to say is possibly that, and I believe Felicia, I take a rather word that she's going to honor this sort of dialogue. However, there's always the possibility that the county commissioners could theoretically say, well, we're not going to give any weight to whatever the liaison presents because they're not sort of, legally appointed by the mechanism of the township, which is traditionally the ordinance, that officially designates that individual to be the official liaison. Also, I used to go to the meetings, and on their agenda, they do not have, now I haven't looked at their agendas recently, but there is no specific line item on their agenda for liaison reports. So the person, and I remember Professor Lumberton, she was the liaison. She had to approach the county commissioners during the public comment portion. She was only subject to just 3 minutes of public comment in her capacity as liaison. So in order for this to work, in my opinion, the county commissioners need to amend their bylaws to change their agenda to have a line item specifically for official liaisons. So that way, official liaisons get more than 3 minutes of just general public comment. They get 3 or 5 minutes, whatever they want to do. So if we really want to affect change, which is what I heard up there, we need to have structural change on both sides.
Well, I can tell you this, I had a conversation, and it wasn't a long conversation, but it was a conversation with Dr. Hobson, who wants to affect change. And so it's not just about the meeting. They're going to meet separately without there even being a meeting. So they've made that commitment to be able to do that, whether it be weekly, monthly, quarterly, to have a meeting amongst themselves. Now, if the meeting doesn't deem effective, because we all know that you can be elected or not be elected, right? But you have to continue with business. So it doesn't have to just be with the commissioners. It could be with some of the people who are in the office, that are in the county commissioner's office. So it's going to be about more or less also building a relationship. So I don't think that it's not going to be something that's done on the surface. It's something that's going to have to take work, and that we're going to have to dig deep to build that relationship. Now, listen, it's up to Bob heard what you said. He's going to make sure that that part takes effect, and legally how that has some stickum to it, right? Now, at that point, and I know that your heart's in the right place. At that point, judge us on that, because this is the first time that we're actually announcing something like that, and he's going to make sure. I've made the call. Ashley's got the phone number. We're all taking those steps to make sure that this thing has some oomph to it, and that we're able to put things in a proper perspective.
I think everyone thinks their heart's in the right place, and we just hope everyone does right, you're within like,
So,
you say you're gonna do something, we hope, but we need something to back us up.
so Mayor, just because it's going to be very difficult to do the minutes, if you do want to reopen.
Oh, yeah, after speaking there, I think that what we could do is, and this is something I have learned from the county commissioners, we can talk when this is over. We can talk when it's over, because this part is over. I promise you, I will talk to you. I know, but what we didn't do is we're past that part, and we can talk when it's over. I think that everyone knows that I'll make sure I stick around. I'm not a runner. At least I'm not anymore. Yeah, I will see you. With that being said, where is that? Oh, resolution number, did I read that one? Oh, resolution number 35-25, resolution authorizing the township committee and supporting staff to meet in private session and authorizing the exclusion of the public from this portion of the meeting dealing with specific issues requiring non-public discussion, attorney-client privilege, personnel. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Caldwell.
Yes.
Ms. Mannix Cantine.
Yes.
Mr. Carl.
Yes.
Ms. Longo.
Yes.
Mayor Lewis.
Yes.
Five yes, motion passes.
Nancy, I'll be right down.
Have a good night.